back, so I mean PG and everything. And then it also just helps you get to where people's headspace is at. Though at the time I don't think my school really cared where my headspace was at because I was just drowning in everything, and my school district kind of like, oh well, that's just a typical student. Oh yeah, typical student. I don't think the word typical can define it, but whatever. So one of the things that kind of helped, another thing that helped me in school was this. I call it the card system. I didn't know how to find other way but to get a traffic light, red, yellow, and green. Apparently they decided to color to the traffic light white, which I'm not sure why. But whatever. So it was made of construction paper. It was green, red, and yellow. I kind of liked it because I wasn't really good at words back then. I mean, I know I look good today, but back then you couldn't even get me to go up here to present to anybody in front of, in front of class projects, class assignments. I mean, but the best part was the card system helped me because I didn't really trust many people in my school. I mean, I had like a few teachers, but other than that, it was feel like me versus my school district, butting heads over and over again. But so then because I needed to go outside, get some air because there's too much information, kind of just suffocating my brain. Yellow was just a warning like, hey, this is going to turn into like a cluster. And then green means which is good. So I also had a one-on-one helper, but it just seemed like every single day, pretty much every single school year, my parents always had to fight to get me one. Even though my school district basically called me, basically told my parents, not in the, I'm going to say the most blunt words, but they didn't really say it this blunt, but in my opinion, they basically said I was a money greedy, resources hard and stuff. But so they didn't really want to give me a helper. I think by 12th grade, they wanted me to share one. And I was like, well, how's that going to work? It's like, my handwriting is not good. I mean, even I was going to attest to that. I mean, my handwriting looks, well, I mean, I think a 2-year-old's handwriting looks better than mine. Though I can say at least nobody can try to forge my handwriting because mine is just different every single time I sign it. So good luck with that one. So it was always hard to find a one-on-one helper. And so it was like pulling teeth, which was not fun. I don't think I've ever had, I didn't actually have my, I had 4 recent teeth to pull, but that's another story for another time. So that's one of the things I found helpful when I was in 12th grade, and we had fill in the blank. Well, I had fill in the blank notes here that a lot of teachers said that would be hard to do. I get this is before AI and everything, but I'm like, it would benefit the whole class anyway. But they was like, well, this is part of your IEP and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, well, it would benefit the whole class, makes everybody be on the same page. I mean, I'm not one of those people who can, at the time, I could pull out the main key points in a PowerPoint or class notes. I mean, if you gave me something to highlight when I was a kid, I'd highlight the whole page. And it was like, what? I like color. It's like, no, highlight the main points. They all look like a bunch of main points to me. What do you want me to do? You want me? And like, it's like giving a kid a bunch of Skittles and whatnot. Taste the rainbow, whatever. But first that was just extra, and everybody said like, "Oh, that's extra work." It's like, "Well, if you gave it to everybody, and it's like it wouldn't be extra. It just, I was like, everybody would be on the same page. People would be paying attention to class, and I mean, it was actually helpful to me because, like I said, my writing is not the best, but I know I could write one word, and I was like, okay, I'm looking for this one word. Here it is, and it was helpful because when I couldn't get the one-on-one help for the 12th grade, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to class by myself. I need something that I did. And one other thing I would share before I go to the next slide is, I don't know how you guys do IEP meetings here, but for those who can talk or know what would be beneficial for them, maybe one way you could do it is invite them to their own IEP meetings, or let them talk at their own IEP meetings, because my school district, well, I know every school district is different, but when in 11th grade, they said, they basically said to me that my being invited to your IEP meeting was kind of like a rite of passage. But unfortunately, on the way up to my IEP meetings in the main principal's office meeting room, they told me, "You're not allowed to talk at your IEP meeting." I'm like, so it's a meeting about me, but I can't talk in my own meeting. Why did you invite me in the first place? Well, the fun part was, well, I wouldn't say the fun part, but it was fun for me at the time because, I wasn't just going to go, I'll just say I took no for an answer. I don't take no for an answer. So I talked at my own meeting, and I think everybody gasped at the whole table. Now, just picture this real quick. So, picture a long table in this meeting room. I was at the head of the table, and I felt like I was watching a political debate back and forth. And I was like, "You took me out of our class for this?" I made it well known for my IEP teachers. Like, if you ever take me out of our class for a meeting that was most pointless for me not to talk, and I'll talk anyway. I was like, take me out of gym class, because at the time, I didn't like gym. I was overweight and whatnot, so that's another story, but just wanted to share that. So, I don't know how many people here get cut off by people in mid-sentences. Do you find that annoying? How many people find that annoying? Well, that's okay, maybe I shouldn't say it this way, but my parents cut me off a lot of times in mid-sentence.
You do talk a lot.
Really?
You talk a lot.
Thank you. Well, it gets annoying sometimes. So it's like, and then sometimes they always tell me, "Rush, can you just give me your short answer?" And it's like, "Well, I'm trying to give you an answer, but you don't let me answer." And so they just rush. And that's what some of the teachers in my school district did, was rushed. And it's like, "Oh, he doesn't know the answer, so we're going to the next person. Well, give me some extra time to answer you." And it's like, so I explained it a while ago. I explained how I stop and start and stop during mid conversations. My brain is like a scrapple bag. You never know what you're gonna get. I mean, I always have the fun. I always have the fun luck of getting 8 E's in Scrabble, and good luck making a word out of that. So, like I said, sometimes it takes people time to put a thought together. I mean, just because I'm doing well today, there's other days where I can't even talk on the phone sometimes. And like sometimes even making doctor's appointments, someone might say something to me on the phone, and I'm like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "I said this." It's like, slow down, you're speaking Spanish or something, I don't know. I'm not making fun of anybody speaking Spanish. I mean, I would like to speak Spanish too at some point. But, you know, everybody learns differently, everybody responds differently. Like, sorry, my brain has brain farts sometimes, and like, I'm not an old fart, but, you know how many thoughts I have in this brain? Too much. Like, I can't even sleep at night sometimes. Won't shut up. I try. And how many times people, well, I'm gonna go on a little rant on this. Sorry, but not sorry. So, I don't know, you guys do a lot of group projects around here.
Sometimes.
I have to say, and please don't get me wrong, I just think group projects I'm still in college and whatnot, I find them totally annoying. And let me tell you a fun story. So, and I'm not saying to change your ways or anything, but if you're gonna do group projects, maybe allow some time to work on the group projects in class here and there, because trying to get people to work outside of class is very, very fun. I mean, especially in the college level, because let's just say one time I was in this group project and it was due the next morning in my college class. Well, everybody said my contribution was great. Well, until at 4 o'clock in the morning, I got a text and it's like, hey Jimmy, can you change this real quick? Class starts in 3 hours, and I was still asleep at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, so I went to my professor at the time, and she got me into a different group because I had people I was waiting on, they basically said like, oh sorry, I have to wait for my work schedule for next week. It's like, are we talking about what happened to the other 4 days of the week? And this was like a Monday. It's like, well, what happened to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Can we do something out of class for Wednesday? It was like, no, I gotta wait for my next work schedule. It's like, great. So I'm just like, but so my point to go over here is, when you're doing group projects or a big assignment, break stuff in small chunks. Maybe start with the first main part of the assignment, and don't even just talk about the rest of the assignment, because I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but when you give people so much information at once, it's just like, what's going on? I have no idea what's going on. So break it up in small chunks, just so that people can, so it's not very overwhelming in times, because it gets annoying. And lastly, information overload is a very real thing, because the times when I get very overloaded from information and whatnot, my brain shuts down, literally shuts down. I became unresponsive in school, and my school district asked me, even said to my friends, like, he's being so difficult. And it's like, I'm being so difficult? And it's like, that's funny. I was like, if I was so difficult, then, well, I don't really have a comment to that, because I just have something nasty I have to say, but I'm gonna say. So my brain shuts down, my thoughts are overwhelming, and all the huge multiple steps doesn't help anybody. And I want, maybe it overwhelms all you guys, because when you have to assign a group project, it's like, it might just be hurting everybody at the same time. I don't know. So, here's the thing. I think everybody needs extra support sometimes. You gotta stop calling it extra, or it's too much, or a person is a resource hogging machine. Because, one of my mom's friends said to me, and said she thinks that everybody has a learning challenge and we're all unique. It's not like we're all one size fits all. Trust me, I know that because my insurance company tries to keep saying that, and yet I'm sure I'm on their blacklist somewhere, right? Shape and form. Oh well, filled out the same as scratch, but whatever. And so it's important to keep the environment open, friendly, and think how people take a look in their shoes, because that's what people should do. And I always suggest that. No, that's it. Thank you. Anyone have questions?
Can you talk about some of your like biggest challenges, like behaviorally and stuff at school when you were younger?
You sure you want me to do that? Okay.
I'm sure.
So there's at times where I did not have the best behavior, okay, maybe all the time. So the parts of the time when I shut down of information overload, teachers, and maybe my one-on-one support when I had one-on-one support in elementary school and middle school, early high school, I refer them as an autistic meltdown. Let's just say it ended like a Category 5 hurricane. And not proud of what I did, but also, let's just say because of my parents and me and my parents and my school district butted heads a lot. Like, for one thing, like one of the accommodations I should have gotten, my parents, I'm good with loud noises to an extent, like concerts fine with, loud music on Spotify fine with, but you know, fire drills, I was supposed to be notified when fire drills happen, just because like, oh, what to expect, and this, it's so loud and obnoxious, and my school district Mike even forgot to mention multiple times to me, and then I get into like all panic, and it's like, gee, you know, I'm eventually gonna get PTSD from this, but no worries. So then that was just putting down me and my behavioral issues. It's like, maybe I wouldn't react so badly if you guys gave me a warning, but try that. Any other questions?
So I know you mentioned, obviously, you're still in school now, and so was there a time, and if so, when was that time when you like felt in a groove in school? Like at what age would you say? And if you have, maybe you haven't yet, I don't know. But
I think now that I'm in college, I'm more in a groove, and that is from my own opinion, because like I took 3 years off after high school because I didn't know if I wanted to go to college or not. But after being in as an Uber driver for a couple of years, a couple of summers, and boy, I could write a book on those stories. Don't even get me started on that, but I enrolled myself into community college, and now I'm transferring to another college. But I got in groove because I had many professors who I liked. I mean, I got into the stuff that I really wanted to learn. It wasn't just the same old. But I did have a statistics professor, if you can call him a professor at this point. I just like me and math did not go together, or science, but somehow I graduated with science. I did really well in science last year, which I was shocked because I had a 6.9 grade, which was fun. But this take time too, because I'm in actually mass media studies, so I'm a nerd at heart, so why not? Any other questions?
I think, did you mention, I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know if I heard you, what's your major?
Mass media studies.
What do you plan on doing once you, going to continue with your podcast, or you want to do anything different?
Going to continue with my podcast. I built an advocacy brand called CrazyFitnessGuy. I was telling Alex yesterday, I talked to this advocacy group about trying to get my reimbursement from my therapy that I see because my parents are not making money. Well, I wish. Well, I wish I was making money, but let's just say Uncle Sam says no, 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 and I was like, well, let's just say none of the nobody's willing to do anything for me, and this advocacy group, I called them up and say, hey, let's do something together, let's help change this. They're like, well, that's the law and whatnot. I was like, well, who knows? Maybe the person who made that law is still in power today because it's not like anybody leaves there. I mean, they'll work there half dead anyway. No offense. I mean, left or right, pick your poison. I mean, they all look like they fell asleep on the podium somewhere or something. And trust me, I'm not a political person. I don't like either side. So. Any other questions?
So you talked about if you were going to an IEP meeting for the first time. Can you talk about how, like, when you found out what autism was, and for you?
I actually found out that I actually didn't really start exploring what autism was until I was in college because I knew I was different in a way, but I didn't know what exactly made me different. And then when I started learning that I had to take some, taking a placement test in college, I was like, wait, why didn't I have to take, what was it, one of those tests for colleges where, I mean, I didn't, like, my school had them, but I didn't know if I wanted to go to college. I didn't take this test, and so I asked my parents, like, how come I didn't have to do this or do that, or why was stuff different? And they told me what autism was, and they didn't really say it was. They didn't say it was a bad thing because it's not a bad thing, but they told me what makes it unique. But then they said, "Go look it up, learn more about it." So I did, and then I created a brand around it, which maybe I make even more crazy because it cost me a lot of money. Yeah. And I don't have a lot of money. Oh, Matt Damon, give me $1 million.
For my speech, did you have delayed speech at all, or did you start speaking?
I had delayed speech. I grew up in New Jersey. I was born in New Jersey, but I pretty much grew up here because I remember some stuff from New Jersey, but I've been here a longest, which is scary as hell. But basically, every time I talked, luckily my parents are smart, and I was smart too, because even though I didn't know how to pronounce stuff, I pointed at everything. So my parents it was like, oh, he's hungry or he's thirsty. And I was like, man, I'm a smart kid. And my parents were actually worried that one day I was never going to talk. And I remember my mom's friend's husband at the time, my mom was taking him to the hospital for his cancer treatments. He was like, don't worry about Jimmy never going to talk one day, because one day he's never going to shut up. And unfortunately for them, that nightmare has come true for me. And sometimes my parents say, like, Jimmy, can you shut up once in a bit? It's like, I gave you a few years, so.
What are some of your found your the memories from elementary and high school that kind of helped you that you enjoyed about it? Is there anything that your school did that you enjoyed?
I enjoyed some of I enjoyed the smaller special education classes because for me, I got to work one-on-one with the teacher. My teacher could literally, like, she taught at everybody's different levels. One thing I found offensive from my school was for all the special education classes, they had us read these little pamphlets of books. It was like maybe like 3 pages long, and I knew my reading was a higher reading level because I think it was 7th grade in middle school. I was reading all the Harry Potter books. Not saying that they were hard, but around the time it was Google first came out. It's 2008-ish, 2007-ish, and so my special education teacher said to me, "Is like, hey, if you don't know a word, I'm here. I'll help you do this." But she told me to challenge yourself because I don't want you to be stuck not being able to read. And so she challenged me to help me become a better reader. And so even though the Harry Potter books I wouldn't say was hard, but think about somebody who's in special education classes, they wanted me to read pamphlets like this, and I'm already reading Harry Potter. I read all 7 books in middle school. Plus, it was really fun to torment my brother too, because he's like, "Don't tell me what happened." It's like, "So this, and that, this." Yeah, he wasn't. He's like, "You tell me, I'm gonna kick your butt." It's like, "Good luck with that one." Whatever. He still tries to kick my butt. I mean, I think back then he could kick my butt, but now I'm in karate for so many years. So good luck with that. I would suggest it. Yeah. Any other questions?
You said you liked your special education classes. Was there an inclusion model in which you were put in general education classes as well? And if that was the case, was there any anxiety about it?
Yeah, it was anxiety. I was put in both, and I think the one thing that I did not like so much was I got pulled out of classes a lot, and I feel like if it was better structure where like one day I was just always in all inclusion one day, and then next was all special education one day, it might have been better, but my school district was like, "Hey, maybe after every single class we pull them out, pull them in," and I'm like, "Oh, that's a fun idea." And it's funny, ironically, I acted out at the same time at the same time, same place, and the school district was still wondering why I wasn't cooperating. I'm like, they said I was a slow learner.
So one thing we've noticed this year is a lot of students are calling, like as a slur or an insult, calling other people autistic. So like, do you have any advice for us as teachers, like how you would feel if like you heard someone using that as like a derogatory term for someone else, like how we could help them or make them understand that they shouldn't be using that word that way? Or how you would feel if you heard someone say that, like not to you even, but like to someone else as an insult, is what you're hearing.
I got it. I'm just thinking of the response for yourself. So, I would say, this is just my opinion, so you can take it or leave it. And this is just me coming off the top of my head, so maybe if you want to address it as a class, and I actually put this in a PowerPoint for next Tuesday, but I'm going to give you a little snippet. So there's a lot of smart people with high IQs, Albert Einstein, Elon Musk. Granted, whatever you want to think of him, but again, not being a political person, I'm just saying, just his high IQ, and he can create a lot different things. Why can somebody give me a new spine? But anyway, and think about all the people who make all the movies and actors. My mom's other friend, she said, possibly we all a little bit autistic. And because like we all learn differently, but we also have unique values too. Like my unique values, and which really irks a lot of companies, is that I can read all the fine print and every little nook and cranny, and it's like, I'm sorry, this is a lie, this is not right. But I pay attention to small little details, which drives everybody nuts, even my parents. I'll give you one example of that. So my mom's cousin's visiting for the week, and so last night I went to work out before dinner. Well, the last time I worked out in my basement, the TV was working and the sound was working. Well, who's been down in the basement for the last couple of days was my dad, and he worked out on the elliptical. Guess who was not working? The TV. He was the only one who was using it. He said, like, I said to him, he's like, so how come what I wanted to use it, the TV's not working? He's like, it's always been working. And I was like, that's why I went downstairs and the TV wasn't working. He didn't have a good response for that. And ironically, once I get the video from this, I'm so cutting this out because my dad will kick my butt. He's like, I want to say to him, it's like, boy, and you were in charge of IT? My gosh. I mean, and that's why I became a huge IT person, because I did not want somebody, or even one day if I ever had kids, if they ever teach me anything, I was like, not that I'm not willing to learn extra, but I was like, no one's gonna outsmart me. So my superpower, and what I say, hopefully to answer your question, is I would sit them down and say, you know what, there's a lot of smart people out there who's different and who's made the world change. And one day I'm gonna be in front of Congress making the health insurance change, because I have a lot of great ideas, and plus I have a lot of crap dug up on Uncle Sam at the moment. Shh, don't tell him. It's all legal, trust me.